One of the things that's important is to understand the restrictions of the domains. There are two parent functions that we're concentrating on that do have restrictions. They are the square root parent function and the reciprocal parent function. These are the two parent functions that you would concentrate on in the restriction of the domain. On the square root, x has to be greater than or equal to 0. With the reciprocal function, x cannot equal to 0. You cannot have a 0 in the denominator. And so we're going to work off of this to be able to figure out the domain of certain functions that are square root and reciprocal. So we have f of x equals the square root of x minus 4, and we're going to be going off of this. There's going to be some restrictions. So whatever we have inside the square root, we have to make it greater than or equal to 0. And then this would end up that the domain is greater than or equal to 4. Now, if we write this in interval notation, this is how it would look, where it's from 4 to infinity. The next function we have is 3x minus 2 over x minus 4. And so here is the parent function where you cannot have 0 in the denominator, so x cannot equal to 0. So this domain is restricted, so we just take the denominator and set it equal to 0. Where we now know that x cannot equal 4, because if you put 4 here, then that will make the denominator equal to 0. Now, this is what it looks like in interval notation. Negative infinity to 4, union 4 to infinity. So let's look at this one and figure out what the domain is on this. So again, it's a reciprocal function. It's in fraction form. So we concentrate on the denominator where we cannot have any x values that make the denominator equal to 0. So let's go ahead and factor the denominator. And then we use the zero product property. And so now we have x values that we cannot have. If we put 0 here for x and 0 here, that will make the denominator to be 0. If we put negative 4 here and here, it will also make the denominator equal to 0. So x cannot equal 0, nor can it equal negative 4. And so if we write this in interval notation, this is what it would look like. So, out of all the parent functions that we have looked at, these are the two that have restrictions in the domain, where you have the square root and you have the reciprocal function. So those are the two that you would have to concentrate on.